At exactly 4 a.m., when the world is at its quietest, when even the guards begin to trust the silence. What if that silence is a trap? What if the man trained to protect the most powerful leader becomes the target himself? And what happens when the hunter suddenly becomes the hunted? This is not just a story of loyalty, this is a story of betrayal, survival, and a night that was never supposed to happen. The air was heavy that night. A strange kind of stillness surrounded the compound, too quiet, too perfect. The kind of silence that makes experienced soldiers uncomfortable. Captain Ibrahim Traoré stood alert. He wasn't just any soldier. He was known among elite circles as one of the sharpest tactical minds. A man who didn't rely on luck, only instinct, discipline, and awareness. And that instinct was screaming. Something wasn't right. Inside the fortified residence, one of the most protected figures in Africa slept under layers of security. And among all those layers, there was one man considered unbreakable. Gaddafi's best bodyguard. A man who had survived coups, assassination attempts, and battlefield chaos. A man who had faced death more times than most soldiers could imagine, and walked away every time. He wasn't just a protector, he was a shield. But even shields can be tested. 4 a.m. A faint sound, not loud, not obvious, just enough. A trained ear would catch it, and Captain Traoré did. His eyes snapped open. No hesitation, no confusion, only calculation. Movement, he whispered. Within seconds, his body shifted from rest to readiness. His hand moved instinctively toward his weapon. His breathing slowed, controlled, measured. Then another sound, closer this time. Outside, shadows moved. Not randomly, not carelessly, professionally. This wasn't some amateur intrusion. This was planned. The perimeter guards, silent, too silent. Traoré stepped forward, his boots barely making a sound. Every step was deliberate, every movement calculated. He reached the corridor, empty. But the air had changed. You could feel it, the presence of danger. Then suddenly, a suppressed gunshot. Pff, not loud, but deadly. Traoré froze. That wasn't a warning. That was an execution. His mind raced. They're inside. He moved fast now. No more waiting. No more guessing. This was no longer suspicion. This was an attack. Inside another section of the compound, the bodyguard had already sensed it too. Years of survival had trained him well. He was awake before the first shot was fired, before the shadows reached him. He didn't panic, he prepared, weapons ready, eyes sharp, every exit memorized, every angle calculated. But what he didn't know was that this time, the enemy knew him too. Back in the hallway, Traoré reached a fallen guard. No signs of struggle. Clean shot. Precise. Professional. This isn't random, he muttered. This is targeted. Then it hit him. Not the building, not the guards, the bodyguard. The realization came like a shockwave. This entire operation, it wasn't about breaking in. It was about taking someone out. Someone important. Someone dangerous. And that meant one thing. Time was running out. Traoré sprinted. No more stealth, no more silence. The element of surprise was gone. Now it was a race. Inside his quarters, the bodyguard heard footsteps. Not one, multiple, approaching fast. He positioned himself near the door, gun raised, finger steady. The handle moved, slowly, carefully. Then, boom! The door exploded inward. Gunfire erupted, rapid, precise, deadly. But the attackers underestimated one thing: experience. The bodyguard moved like a ghost. One step left, fire, one step right, cover. 2 attackers dropped instantly, but there were more, much more. Outside, Traoré heard the explosion. He pushed harder, faster, closer. But suddenly, gunfire ahead, blocking his path. Ambush. He dove for cover as bullets ripped through the corridor. Walls shattered, glass exploded. The entire compound was now awake, but chaos had already taken over. Traore peeked. 3 attackers, well positioned, waiting. He smiled slightly. Not fear, not panic, just calculation. "They think they've trapped me," he whispered. He pulled a flash grenade, counted 1, 2, 3, throw, flash. Blinding light filled the hallway. Screams followed. Traore moved instantly. 3 shots, 3 targets, 3 down. No wasted bullets, no hesitation. He kept moving. Inside the room, the bodyguard was holding, but barely. More attackers poured in. He was outnumbered, outgunned, but not outmatched. He fought like a man who had nothing to lose. Every movement precise, every shot lethal. Yet, something was off. These attackers weren't just skilled. They were informed. They knew his position, his habits, even his fallback points. This is an inside job, he realized, and that realization was more dangerous than the bullets. Back in the corridor, Traore reached the final turn. Just one more stretch, one more push. But as he stepped forward, a figure, gunfire echoed like thunder through the compound. Smoke filled the air. Walls were torn apart. And in the middle of that chaos, 2 battles were happening at the same time. One for survival, the other for truth. Captain Ibrahim Traoré didn't hesitate. The moment the mastermind stepped forward, everything slowed down. Not in reality, but in his mind. Every detail became clear. The stance, the confidence, the way he spoke. This wasn't just a soldier. This was someone who knew the system. "You're too late," the man had said. But Traore knew something they didn't. He never moved without a backup plan. The attacker fired first. A sharp burst of bullets tore through the hallway. Traore dropped low, rolling behind cover as debris exploded around him. He didn't fire back immediately. He waited, listened, measured, footsteps, 1, 2, slight shift to the right. Traore leaned out. 2 precise shots. The attacker dodged. Fast. Too fast. A normal soldier wouldn't move like that. "Impressive," the attacker said calmly, stepping into partial light. "You've improved." Traore's eyes narrowed, that voice familiar. "Who are you?" he demanded. The man stepped closer, just enough for his face to be seen. And in that moment, Traore froze, not out of fear, but shock. "It's impossible," he whispered, because standing in front of him was someone who wasn't supposed to be there, someone presumed gone, someone from inside. "You finally see it," the man said. This wasn't just an attack. This was betrayal at the highest level. Meanwhile, inside the room, the bodyguard dropped to one knee. Blood soaked his uniform, his breathing heavy, but his grip on the weapon still steady. The attackers circled him now, confident, certain. "You've lost," one of them said. The bodyguard gave a faint smile. "Men like me," he said slowly, "don't lose." He pulled the trigger. One attacker fell, then another, but a bullet struck him in the side. He staggered, vision blurred. Yet he didn't fall, because in his mind, there was only one thing that mattered: protect the mission. Back in the corridor, Traore stepped forward, slowly, carefully. "You were one of us," he said. The man smiled. "I still am," he replied. "Just on the winning side." That sentence hit harder than any bullet. "Why?" Traore asked. A pause. Then the answer came, cold, unemotional. "Because loyalty doesn't pay, power does." Silence, heavy, dangerous. Traore exhaled slowly. "You're wrong." And then he attacked, fast, explosive, no warning, no hesitation. Their fight wasn't just gunfire anymore. It was skill against skill, training against training. Every move was matched. Every strike countered. They were equals. But only one of them still believed in something greater. Back inside, the bodyguard heard footsteps again. More incoming. His time was running out. He checked his weapon, almost empty. No backup, no escape. But still, No surrender. He stood up, slowly, painfully. "If this is the end," he muttered, "then let it be a loud one." Outside, Traore was beginning to gain the upper hand. A sharp move. Disarm, counter, strike. The traitor stumbled back. For the first time, he looked uncertain. "You should have stayed out of this," he growled. Traore stepped closer. "You should have never betrayed us." Gun raised, steady. But before he could pull the trigger, a distant gunshot echoed. Both men froze. Inside the room, everything went silent, too silent. Traore's heart tightened. "No," he whispered. He turned and ran, leaving the traitor behind, because in that moment, nothing mattered more than reaching him, the bodyguard. He burst into the room, smoke, bodies, destruction, and in the center, the bodyguard. Standing, barely, but still alive. Their eyes met, no words needed, just respect, just understanding. "You're late," the bodyguard said weakly. Traore allowed himself a small smile, but not too late. Suddenly, a final attacker emerged from the shadows. Gun aimed. Traore turned. But he wasn't fast enough. The trigger was pulled. But the shot never hit him, because the bodyguard stepped in front. The bullet struck. Silence. Everything stopped. Traore caught him as he fell. "Why?" he asked, his voice breaking for the first time. The bodyguard smiled faintly. "Because that's the job." His grip loosened, and just like that, the strongest shield finally fell, but not in defeat, in sacrifice. Moments later, reinforcements stormed the compound. The attackers were gone, vanished, including the traitor. But the damage was done. Traore stood there, silent, still, not just thinking about the attack, but about what it meant. This wasn't over. This was just the beginning, because now he knew the real enemy wasn't outside, it was already inside, and next time there wouldn't be warnings, only consequences.